ready to make our final character for the week. Here is our roll guide, our dice roller, and our slightly modified form-fillable PDF for a character sheet. Following our standard operating procedure, which, hey, if you've been watching other shows before, we're in a rhythm, right? You know, we hit this stride and we're going. Though, if this is your first time in the channel watching this video, either on demand on Twitch or later on YouTube, or if you're here live and you're wondering what is going on, what are the numbers, just sit back. We're going to go on a journey together. And if you have questions along the way, please ask. Whoa, hey, Spicy. Good to see you in here. I presume your drive was successful, and cheers. Cheers to you. I have some nice, it's like a mango green tea. It's really good. But I'm glad you got out to the airport. You seem you're back. Hopefully you're in good spirits. Actually, Spicy, if you're picking up, you said your girlfriend or your significant other. Did you see Ready Player One tonight? Did you kind of go on a movie date at all? You know, if it's too personal, you don't have to answer. But I saw that tonight, and I thought it was okay. It was worth the price of admission, and I don't think you have to see the 3D version of it. Spicy's going to the plains, rolls at advantage to take down the Null Pack. 3 and 5. Oh, so even with advantage, you fall just short. And unfortunately, these humanoid hyenas, they snap into a Slim Jim here, and Spicy Larry goes down. Alright, let's see if our character is male or female, and we do that with a percentile roll. 62, that's going to put us into male territory. Let's change that up. You have not. I never read the book, so I didn't know if it would interest you. Okay, you don't have to have read the book to see the movie. The movie has the core of the book inside of it, but the movie is not the book. You can treat the movie as a standalone property, and you'll completely get the gist of what the book had in it. If you didn't want to read it, I mean, some people love reading physical books. Although if you do a lot of driving or if you study and you want something in the background, you can find it on Audible. I don't know, they might even have a sale to coincide with the movie release. But the Audible version is done very well, and I could recommend that too. Hey, Dark Wolf. Off of work now, but stuck in the car for a while. Oh. Well, if you have us on your phone, well, you have some friends with you. Alright, so we have a male character, and we're going to determine the race with a D10, re-rolling a 10 if we encounter it. So technically a D9. 4. Oh, we were close. Dark Wolf. We were 1 away from having a Dragonborn as our final party member. As that would have been a 5. Though we do have a human. And humans themselves don't have sub-races. Though there is a standard... Whoop, hey, now, you behave. There's a standard format for humans, which is... have their special abilities +1 to all their ability scores. Or, if we roll odds on the next D10, we'll have a variant, which is +1 to 2 stats, and a skill, and a feat. Yeah, it is offered in 3D. Do you have to see it in 3D? No. Will you enjoy it in 3D? Yeah. I don't think it was made for 3D. Like, it's not, like, super, like, hyped to be a 3D movie. So either way is fine. And, hey, if you're a fan of, you know, like, late 70s through mid-90s nostalgia, pop culture, that kind of a thing. And, of course, it has more recent stuff. They made a deal with Blizzard and whatnot. You can see, like you can see their character Tracer from Overwatch in the movie. So there's some more modern stuff in there as well. But if you're a fan of pop culture history, this movie will tickle you, and you will just... There's so many different... I'd almost want to call them cameos more than Easter eggs, as you're getting these video game cameos and references in the movie. And I had fun. It was a good time out. All right, odds or evens? Let's find out what kind of a human we're getting. We are another 4. We're getting even. All right, this is going to be the +1 to all stats version. This will be easy, right? Keep this as a placeholder so we don't forget. Next up. Our alignment is 2D100s to find out which, you can't even call them quadrants, there's 9 of them. But to see where on the chart our character will lie. 45.99. We have Chaotic Good. Oh, I think we have this is going to be a very interesting party mix. Easter eggs? Are you not familiar with the term Easter egg, Spicy Larry? Is that what that is implying? I know we're actually close to Easter, so I'm not talking about Easter eggs as in the kind of secular tradition around the holiday of Easter. An Easter egg is, it's still something you find, but it's a surprise within something you might not expect otherwise. Now let's see which level our character is going to be. We roll 1d100, find it on our distribution table here, 54. We have a level 9 character. We've had some pretty solid characters, like solid mid-range level characters. Now, before we find out which class our character is, let's figure out what he did when he was younger, or just what he did before he was an adventurer. There are 13 backgrounds in the PHB. Let's roll it, a D13, and figure it out. 7. Oh, we have another hermit, though. Oh, all right, so Darkwolf, if you're still in here, while we didn't have a Dragonborn hermit and a Halfling hermit, we do have a Halfling hermit and a human hermit. Easter eggs aren't necessarily plot points. Easter eggs are just fun little things that you might see in the background. So, for instance, well, I could say this movie, but the whole point of the movie is an Easter egg, let alone all the cameos and other Easter eggs you find inside of it. But, I don't know, let's say, oh, here's a good reference. If you watch the movie Predators, plural, it's like Predator 2. Towards the end of the movie, you see inside of a Predator spacecraft, because a Predator is an alien that comes down and hunts humans for sport, and that's the conflict in the movie. So you get to see the inside of the Predator spacecraft. Within the spacecraft is the skull of an alien from the Alien franchise. Now, if you weren't aware of the Alien franchise, you're just like, oh, that's a weird trophy. But people who knew what an alien head from that franchise looks like geeked out and said, whoa, this means that they're, that they could very well exist in the same universe or the same storytelling. And of course, Predator versus Alien or Alien versus Predator is a thing. And so the alien skull at the end of Predator 2 was an Easter egg. Oh, you're familiar with it? Isn't an Easter egg? Yeah. I'm sorry. It is. There is an egg that is the MacGuffin of the story. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants to pursue it, and it is the key to the prize at the end. Hey, Steel Dust! It's good to see you in here. Spicy Larry and I have been talking a little bit about Ready Player One. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Of course, because we're talking about a movie that's just filled with them. We're by the holiday, and with me having like one eye over here and the other eye over here. Sorry, that might have been my fault in a miscommunication, Spicy. Looks like your internet is stabilized now. Darkwolf, if you missed it, our 5th character is a human, which is number 4 instead of 5, which was a Dragonborn. However, if you remember last week, we had 2 hermits that were our last 2 characters. Looky. We rolled Hermit. Now, within the Hermit... within the Hermit background, there are 8 different origins to be a Hermit that the book suggests. We get number 5. Wait a minute. Was number 5 the last one, too? Oh, that was number 3. Ooh, very close. Okay, so we're going to make a note of this and come back and determine what does 5 mean, right? It's a number. Hermit number 5. Is that like an obscure album from the 60s or something? Yeah, so close. Yeah, and it is another Hermit. And we're building him up. We have a chaotic good Hermit, and we don't know what he is just yet. Let's scroll down to page number 2, and we're going to drop in a couple more numbers that we'll revisit in just a little bit to build this character's story. That's going to require 2d8 and 3d6. Let's hit it. 4 and 6 for personality traits. 3d6. Here we go. 2, 5, and 6 for an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. What hat is that? So this is a nice little onion dome hat that I have. Isn't it fantastic? It's a hat that I wore. It's a hat that I wore a while ago when I was skiing. But ski hats you can have a lot of fun with, right? As long as it's keeping your head warm. And this is one of my fun ski hats. Is this onion dome hat? The class, we're going to be finding that out right now, Dark Wolf. You came in at just the right time because this is the next thing up. Whoop. If I get over the right document. There are 12 classes in the PHB, and there is a die, a standard die with 12 sides. Let's hit this golden button and figure out what the character is as we find him. A 4. That is a druid. Hey, nice. Druids are fairly simple here because they're either Circle of the Land or Circle of the Moon. Let's roll odds or evens on a d12 and figure out which one. Huh. You know what? We got 4 and 4 for the human. We have 4 and 4 for the druid. So even, and an even is Circle of the Moon, meaning a shapeshifter-focused druid instead of a spellcaster-focused druid. There we go. Cycle of the Moon. Nice and easy. Just a wee little bit more of random number generation to flesh out our character. This way, actually, a little bit literally, because we're going to be focusing on some physical traits. Pardon. Cheers. Tonight, it's a nice mango green tea. Oh, it's yummy. All right, humans here start at 4'8", and we're going to add 2d10 to their height. 6 inches. All right, nice and easy. So we have 4 foot 14. There we go. 4 foot 14 inches, right? We're going to take this same number 6, and we are going to multiply it by 2d4 pounds and add that to the base weight. 6 times 5 is 30, and we're going to add that to 110. And so he has a nice dry weight here of 140 pounds. Now we're going to determine his age. We're going to do that by rolling a 100-sided die. Bink, right there. Let's hit it. 38. He is an adult. Which is age range 3, right here. Then we cross-reference this with human. Bingo. 26 to 40 years old is the adult age range, as we've determined it here. Now, it's stuff like this in the PHB, not necessarily. It'll talk a little bit about age and whatnot. This is a way for us to be able to randomize and further be able to give story elements to our characters. So you don't always have to get caught up here. Do you like playing, you know, kind of that really good, like the young protagonist you see in Western fantasy or in a lot of animes. You know, you're like that. You're that really energetic or that kind of child prodigy, right? You're the 10-year-old leaving Pallet Town in Pokemon, or you know, you're like the 15-year-old. You're in the high school age range, and you go on an adventure out in the world, and you know, you have the power of friendship thing going for you. Or do you like playing consistently young adults or adults, or do you like being the old wizened wizard? Or an old wizened fighter, you know, the old grizzly one who knows all the battle tricks. Alright, so 26 to 40 is a 15-sided die right here. We'll change our 13 to a 15 and randomly generate a number. 8. Alright. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Nice and easy, right? So he's in or maybe just past his prime. He's not middle-aged yet. But he is or I'm sorry, that would have been human as an adult. I'm sorry, that was 26. I was actually looking at middle age. I was looking at the wrong one. So we have 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. He is in his prime. Not necessarily approaching middle age just yet. So he's in a really sweet spot right now. The mustache is a nice filter. All right. This finishes out our calculations here. Now we've cast our bones, right? And we've cast our bones into the augury dish. Now let's peer into it and make sense of what do these numbers mean? Who is this character? We're going to begin by looking at his background, as that's going to give us some great starting points. We're going to scroll alphabetically in Chapter 4 until we get to Hermit, which is really close up. It's a guy with a poofy hat, kind of like mine. Bing. There we go. Well, I guess that's more of a turban, I guess you'd say. This is more of an onion dome shaped hat. We are going to get training in medicine and in religion. There we go. We are going to gain a tool proficiency of an herbalism kit. There we go. We will get a language of our choice, so we get common, and then humans allow for one other. And we will get one other from being a hermit. Equipment. A scroll case with notes. Notes or prayers. He can, if we did, it's a druid. We could make this into a religious prayers, because druidism is it's an animism. Or it's an animistic religion. We could make him very religious, or we could make him more of a naturalist, a scientist. Yeah, we might be able to give him orc and halfling. Something like that could work. Though, in all honesty, we can use those as finishing touches on this character, and we can even go back, because we haven't assigned bonus languages yet to the other characters. Scroll case, where... Oh, yeah. Winter blanket. Common clothes. And we do actually get a herbalism kit. And we get 5 gapuz. There's our GP. Now we can make sense of what Hermit number 5 means. Well... Our last one was exiled for a crime that he didn't commit. This one entered into a hermitage because he needed a quiet place to work on his art, literature, music, or some kind of a manifesto. So this was self-imposed because he was feeling creative, or he needed to just get away from other people. You know, being a druid, hey, you can go and seek that, or at least get away from the noise of other people, even other druids, right? If you want to go and be a Disney princess in a quiet grove and have birds on your shoulder and squirrels running around your feet, or even if you want to avoid that, this region has a desert area. So, whoa, hey, that's a little too much scrolling. There we go. Our background feature is a discovery. And if you remember from our last character, discoveries as far as backgrounds go can be very powerful and very cool. It is prompting you, sit down with your DM and discuss what kind of spiritual revelation, a revelation of the cosmos, some personal veil has been lifted, or you've even discovered an ancient city that was just unburied in the sands, or a mudslide occurred and now the edifice of a temple is peering out from a mountainside. And that could be your discovery too. It could be philosophical, physical. You could even have your DM say your discovery is an ancient. You could even be rich. Maybe your DM says, yeah, your discovery was a dragon's hoard, and the dragon died on top of its gold pile. All the gold is yours, but of course, if you're a hermit out from nowhere, and you start spending 100 gold at a time in a town, people are going to start wondering, where did old man so-and-so start getting 100 gold at a time to buy all this stuff? So you're still impoverished because you can't spend the money, at least not without other people discovering that. And so in that case, you have a blessing and a terrible curse. As a hermit, you have access to unlimited funds, but you should really only spend a little bit at a time. Spicy says he secluded himself to grow a new strain of pipeweed. That could be. It's he wants to go. He secluded himself in Flavor Country, or or where in Copenhagen, or. Although things like that are, look, that's a part of D&D too. It may not be often talked about, but Spicy gets it. Spicy's picking up what we're putting down. Alright, here's his personality. Let's build him out one step at a time. 4. I feel tremendous empathy for all who suffer. And 6, I connect everything that happens to me to a grand cosmic plan. Ooh. You want to talk about an easy in with the characters, right? So if he's going to meet these characters, and at least these two characters have a connection of a great omen of some kind. Let alone we come down here and... here's my BRB message. So Gurdon is brought in by Nike. Helos is sort of like... Nike right now is almost the party leader, I'd argue. Helos is going to come along as an equal investor in this. And Alexandria is going to be caught up in this too, because she's going to be maybe writing the infiltration coattails of these people as they're enacting their plan. And now we have someone who's like, whoa, I get it. I see the grand I'll play a little bit to Spicy Larry's pipeweed comment here. I see the grand plan and everything, man. It's all out there in front of us. I get it. I'm a part of this. Look, I have the yin yang going on here. So I shouldn't hide my cap and my Iron Man here. Keep them on display. Okay, his ideal is 2. Logic. Emotions must not cloud our sense of what is right and true, or our logical thinking. While this is branded as lawful, even with this kind of loosey-goosey attitude, being he had a good character and he feels tremendous empathy, that logic, right? So now we're defining this connection of everything. So now his mind, he's not unintelligent. He is connecting everything as best as he can. Yes, Spicy can see him now. Okay. Bonds 5. Uh-oh. Should my discovery come to light, it could bring ruin to the world. Ah! My isolation gave me great insight into a great evil that only I can destroy. Ah! Oh, now why did you do that? Get back in there. I suffer awful visions from a coming disaster and will do anything to prevent it. Ah! Connections, connections, connections. We're throwing them out there. Oh, this is writing itself. Yeah, that is a wicked strain of pipeweed, isn't it? I'm sure Gandalf and Bilbo would be very happy with it. And sixth, his flaw is, I like keeping secrets and won't share them with anyone. So he's seeing all these revelations, but he's not. Maybe he's even then a bit paranoid. Maybe that's what's making him erratic in his behavior as a chaotic. I'd say he's good, but he's chaotic because he's making these connections, but he can't let anyone know about them. Because if people know about them, that might break the logic chain because they're going to react to his knowledge. And so, you know, he's always calculating. He's thinking. He might even act paranoid. And that's not even the pipeweed talking. This is a very interesting personality, especially for a druid. You know, so he's looking at the great web of life and the interconnection and the ecosystem of how things work, and that, you know, a little fish get eaten by bigger fish and get eaten by bigger fish. All right. Humans. It's not that they're boring. In fact, they have a very large entry, but that's because in this case there's not really sub-races of humans, but there are different ethnicities that they'll focus on, and then they'll give you traits of them and sample names, that kind of a thing. So really, a traditional human, boom, all our ability scores increase by 1. And, oh yeah, we are a medium-sized creature who can move 30 feet as a run, which gives us a 15-foot climb and a 15-foot swim. And sadly, unless we take some sort of a form or a spell, we have a 0 fly speed. That was easy, huh? Now we come down to Druid. Here we go. He's a conspiracy theorist? Ooh, yeah. You know, especially as we're talking to, as we're coming up with this non-BBEG plan, Dark Wolf, and we could even focus that on tonight. Like, we're trying to plan a casino heist as a sample dungeon. A character like this would be really interesting. You should leave it to the chaotic person to come up with a plan, because it'll account for everything. You get a lawful person doing it, and they're going to be like, no, this is by the book. This is how it's going to happen. He's going to think of everything. He might have some wild eyes, you know, maybe like a twig in his hair. Alright, so he runs off of D8s, and specifically, because he's level 9, he has 9 D8 hit die that are available for intrinsic healing. There we go. What else do we get? We get armor training with light, medium, and shields. Now, there is a note here that says druids will not wear armor or use shields made of metal. In D&D 5e, a shield is a shield. So cosmetically, you could say it's a wooden shield. In other editions, you had 4th edition had 2 types of shields. In 3rd edition, you had 4 types of shields? No. You might have had 5 different types of shields in 5th edition. Here, a shield is a shield. Do you have it or not? So it's a cosmetic effect. That said, this is a suggestion in the book. It's a taboo. Like, if you are following kosher tenets, you know, not to, you know, to have a ham and cheese with mayo on white bread is not kosher. Or to violate some other, you know, if you're following Hindu tenets and you eat beef or wear leather. It's a taboo. Can your character wear metal armor? Yes. They're not going to burst into flames and, you know, or be like a vampire in the rays of the sun. But it's saying to consider that they're going to be using wood, leather, bone, other elements that are more natural than man-made worked metal armors. It's all connected. What is? Nothing. Ignore that. Oh, and we have a whole list of weapons. Clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, slings, spears. Which, if we look, I'm going to collapse this real quick. They didn't put... there's really just only a few things. You could almost just say simple minus great club and great club, hand axe, and light armor if you wanted to, because everything else is on here. However you want to present it, because this is a lot, right? This is probably not very readable. But for their own reasons, hand axes are used to, you know, chop plants and whatnot. Hammers are tools of civilization. And, I'm sorry, what was the other one? We have light hammer. Oh, and great clubs. I don't know. If I was a DM and a druid wanted to wield a great club proficiently, I don't necessarily think I'd have a problem with that, because it's a big stick. Especially because they can use regular clubs. I don't know. It's up to you and your DM. You can always bring that sort of thing up and ask. There we go. An unarmed strike. You can do it that way too. Alright, let's go back to Druid and continue looking at our fun little things that we get. Being level 9, let's take a look at our line here, right? We're exploring here and up. Level 9, all of this is what we have access to. At level 9, we have a +4 proficiency bonus. Let's fill this in. This is going to be important. We're going to know 3 cantrips. 1, 2, 3. Remember, the first page on here gives you access to your cantrips, so it's nice and fast. Then we are going to get 3, 3, 3, and 1 for spell slots. 3, 3, 3, and 1. And so far, because we're generating a character, we've used none of them. Alright. We do get tool proficiency in an herbalism kit. Meaning that we can give... I as a DM would rule, well, if we have a redundancy, we can give him proficiency in some other kind of... maybe a related kit. And we can look and see what's there. So we'll put a question mark and come back. You know, would he have a poisoner's kit? Would he have maybe a gaming set? Maybe a dice kit, right? If he likes connecting dots and he's a conspiracy theorist, maybe he has a gaming set of some kind, or some other kind of a kit, an alchemy kit. Intelligence and wisdom are his saves right here, down here, saving throws. All right, good progress. Skills, we get to choose 2 from Arcana, Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, and Survival. Well, we have medicine and religion already. He is going to be a Circle of the Moon druid, meaning he is animalistic himself. You know, Darkwolf, I know you're actively playing a druid if you have some input in him. I don't know if he'd really take animal handling if he is an animal himself, or he can cast a lot of spells like speak with animals and all that. Is there any kits that include red string? Right? We can look into our kits. Arcana could be interesting. That could help fathom mysteries of the cosmos as well. Insight could be interesting, especially because he does feel tremendous empathy, and to understand others' feelings, that empathy, insight can be very valuable. So that could be one that we take, is insight. He has medicine. Knowledge of nature, well, he's a druid, but then we could argue, okay, yeah, it sounds like he should have it. Then again, he's a druid. He could just grow plants. He can talk to plants through a spell. He can do all of this already, so does he need a skill otherwise? A burglary kit does include a string. Hey, yeah, we can give him a burglary kit, I guess, if we wanted to. Perception will help him see and hear everything that's around. If we do want him to be kind of a paranoid, you know, he, by his own nature, let alone with any of this strain of pipeweed that he's growing with his herbalism kit, as Spicy Larry is saying, perception could be important. Perception and insight. He has religion. And survival, I could say also, look, you can make plants grow, you can find water, you can make water as a druid. And especially for his personality, because again, don't just look at the spells, look at the personality. Why would he take these skills and focus on them? I don't really think he's worried about his own survival. He's this animalistic druid. He can find what he needs. But what he can't, or what he's needing, or at least for physical needs, he needs information. He needs to make connections. I'd almost argue that something like investigation would be really good for him. So maybe something like insight and perception could be big for him. Oh yeah, so Spicy Larry and also Darkwolf. There was a bit war last night about midway. If you go into the videos on demand into the Diablo 3, like I played for like 2 hours or so. About in the middle of it, there was a bit war, and Karma the Goat ended up knocking over Spicy Larry. Would he think someone or something is after him? Maybe. He thinks that should his discovery come to light, it could bring ruin to the world. It doesn't explicitly say that he thinks there's an agent or that there's spies all around who are waiting to get his secret, but it could be implied that that's what that means. It's not, I don't think it's too far of a step to say that that could be the case, Darkwolf. Spicy says I'll have to rectify that. Oh no, it says Karma. Oh, and we get some equipment here. There we go. They're coming for his secret formula. All of a sudden, I'm thinking of Half Baked or Mama's Boy. We get a wooden shield or a simple weapon, a scimitar or a simple melee weapon, leather armor. All right, so here, let's give him a shield bonus. We have a shield. We'll give him a scimitar. And we'll give him leather armor. An explorer's pack. And a druidic focus. Maybe spell-wise detect poison or purify food or drink. Yeah, although keep in mind, Dark Wolf, so we can add that into his character. But remember, druids can wake up every morning and, aside from their cantrips, choose whatever they'd want. So if we do make a spell list for him, and we certainly can, this would be... We're doing it as a practice of his... an extension of, I'm not out to do something specific today, so what am I prepared for on any given day? And we're using that to show a little bit of druidic ankle on who he is and his thought patterns. So that's not a bad suggestion. Something like detect poison or purify if he thinks people are after him. You know, and his secret recipe, his you know, if we want to go like Big Lebowski and he's playing the dude, we have the druid as the dude. You know, he has some nihilists coming after him because, of course, nihilists believe in nothing. We believe in nothing, Lebowski, nothing. And they're also coming after him with big metal scissors. Hopefully, some of you all out there have seen the Big Lebowski and are getting what I'm saying, but at least going off of what Spicy Larry is saying and maybe what Dark Wolf is inferring, we almost have the druid as the dude. What else? Oh, we also know, by the way, Druidic. A nice secret language that we shouldn't tell anyone else. Spellcasting. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. We do get ritual, spellcasting focus. We are going to get... Alright, so our race is not giving us anything here. We are going to get wild shape. Starting at second level, we can use our action to magically assume the shape of a beast that we've seen before. And by the way, encounter lists for something like a druid is a good... It's almost like a spell book, right? If you have like a... You know how bird watchers will have a list of birds they've seen? Well, druids in this case almost have a similar diary of the beasts that they've seen in their travels. That way that they can study them and learn how to turn into them when whatever the proper time is comes. Okay, so we can, at 8th level here, we can get a creature with no limitations. That's up to a maximum CR of 1. An example here would be a giant eagle. In our neck of the woods, we have a shopping store, or a supermarket chain called Giant Eagle, so it always kind of makes me laugh. So hey, this fly speed can change, right? There we go. So we'll make a note. CR1 max, no restrictions. And as you can see, Dark Wolf, hopefully if you got to this point, since you are above 2nd level, that you've taken a moment to read what happens when you assume the form of an animal. And if you have questions on it, you can let me know. It may seem like a lot, but don't let your eyes roll to the back of your head and you're like, whoa, okay, hang on, I don't know what's going on here. This is manageable. It's just giving you a set of rules or parameters in which you can work. Hey, Raven, it's good to see you. We are making a druid character. Alright, we have our circle. This is the Circle of the Moon, so she's going to be more of a shapeshifter. Ability score improvement, ASI, we're going to get 2 of those. One at 4, and then one at 8. There we go. That was 7. This is 8. And the next thing we get as a druid is either druid is at 18th level, so we're not really worried about that right now. Here are our druid circles. Land are the spellcasting focused druids. Circle of the Moon are shape-shifting focused. Oh, speaking of, since I saw those big Curse of Strahd wolves, I could turn into them, right? That is that is going to depend on their challenge rating, Dark Wolf. And I have, for a discussion we're having later, I'm going to be going over things like encounter tables, and I do have a monster manual open. So if we, oops. Oh, well that's no bueno. That's... Here, we'll take a look real quick. Blink dog, boar, crab. Here we go, direwolf. Yes. You will be able to at level 8. But because direwolf is challenge rating 1, you cannot turn into one just yet. It's a little too strong for you. Right now, at 3rd level, your max CR, see, at 2nd level, you can go up to a max CR of 1/4. And it can't have flying or swimming. At 4th level, so next level for you, you can go up to CR 1/2. And it just can't have a flying speed. And then at 8th level, you can finally start turning into a bear-sized direwolf. Oh, that's true. Yeah, we're actually going to get into that. I'm sorry. You brought up a good point, Dark Wolf. I only had a baseline druid in mind, because we're getting to Circle of the Moon right now. Alright, we have Combat Wild Shape. When you choose this circle at 2nd level, you gain the ability to use Wild Shape on your turn as a bonus action rather than as an action. So you're a nice, quick little Animorph here. Additionally, while you are transformed by Wild Shape, you can use a bonus action to expend 1 spell slot to regain 1d8 hit points per level of the spell slot extended. So, you like being a bear? You like eating people's kayaks and making them go, "Bear, bear, that's my kayak, bear, bear, you're supposed to be asleep, bear. That's made of plastic, bear." You can heal yourself as she tries to squirt bear mace at you. And circle forms. The rights of your circle grant you the ability to transform into more dangerous animal forms. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your Wild Shape to transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as 1. Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, so yeah, Dark Wolf, I'm sorry. If you are Circle of the Moon, if that's the route that you went, yeah, if you can go up to a 1 right now, you can turn into a direwolf. That means, though, that at level 6, we can go into a challenge rating as high as your druid level divided by 3 rounded down. Alright, this means then our CR is 3 right now. CR 3 max, no restrictions. We also are going to get Primal Strike. Your attacks in beast form count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. That is big. Plus, it turns you into like a moose monk, right? You turn into a big moose and you bop people with your hooves. Well, those are magical hooves. And we're just shy of getting Elemental Wild Shape. At 10th level, you can expend 2 uses of Wild Shape at the same time to transform into an air elemental, an earth, fire, or water elemental. Okay. Now we should consider our scores. And then after our scores, that's going to tell us our ability to cast spells. Dark Wolf, I should have turned into one when we were attacked, but for flavor, let's say Soraya was a bit surprised and pretty hesitant to fight her own kind. No, I think you roleplayed that well. It was a bit of a moral conundrum, and you also found out in that combat that these wolves, let alone maybe some of the other agents of Strahd, aren't so easily convinced even by magic that you are their friend. There's maybe a more insidious force that's playing over them. So you did investigation and combat at the same time through your use of animal friendship. Okay, wisdom is going to be important for us as a druid. Let's look at his personality also. Tremendous empathy for all who suffer. Well, that's wisdom. Connecting everything in a grand cosmic plan. Logic. So maybe... So let's say that we go with this. Yep, spicy, I agree. I think that he would have a low charisma. Not that he's not approachable. He just doesn't present himself as... He's a... You know, as Darkwolf said, it sounds like he's kind of leaning towards being a crazy conspiracy theorist. He's like a Doc Brown type, right? Kind of wild hair, maybe. He gets up in the morning, right? He slept under a tree. He might have, you know, some hay or something in his hair. And that doesn't matter because he's going to be calculating. He's going to be trying to figure things out. He's going to be observant. And, so yeah, Spicy, I think you and I, my mind to your mind, we're on the same wavelength. Yeah, Radagast the Brown. And remember, too, what's really interesting, if we didn't want to make this a dump stat, by turning into an animal, that supercharges his physical stats. We don't necessarily have to make him too physical. No, you're fine, Spicy. Hair like that one Aliens guy? Oh, yeah. Look, I'm not saying it's elementals, but it's elementals. But yeah, so if we do this, this is reflecting that, you know, he doesn't even have to be slovenly, but he just smells natural. You know, and natural is a lot of things. He smells natural. He just comes across as, maybe he doesn't shave. Maybe he loves having a big, like, Grizzly Adams mountain man beard. Or maybe he does. Or maybe he actually just sort of, like, shaves an odd pattern into his head. Or, like, this is reflecting that he's not the best at conveying himself or his presence. It's a blend of a lot of different things. Darkwolf says, I just saw part of a show with that guy, actually. Actually, it was on in the break room. Oh, what was he talking about, Darkwolf? Now, if we do this, we're going to, remember, we get to add 1 to everything, because we ended up rolling for the kind of the vanilla human, which isn't bad. Look, it is going to be giving us stat bumps at the outset, which is really nice. So this is going to go to a 9, a 16, a 15. Actually, this should be in the small circle. Why am I doing it like this? And 11. There we go. Oh, you know what? Real quick, we need to go back and roll if he has any feats to take. That's a percentile die. 79. Okay, he is going to get 1 feat. So he is going to get 2. He's going to get 1 stat bump with an ASI, and he's going to be able to take a feat also. Let's take a look at the feats first, because that can offer a stat bump, and then we can look and see where we want to apply the +2 to 1 stat or the +1 to 2 stats. Chapter 6, Character Customization, and scroll down. The feats are listed in alphabetical order. They were trying to discover something about a misshapen humanoid skull found in South America. Ah. They did a DNA test and had European origins, despite being estimated to be over 2,000 years old. Ooh, that's cool. So what was his input on it, Dark Wolf? Now, as we're talking about someone who might be paranoid, someone who's trying to make a lot of connections, Alert was the first one that came to mind. Not only does he get a +5 bonus to initiative, he can't be surprised while he's conscious, and other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against you as a result of being hidden from you. Oh, okay, so he was saying it was aliens? Athlete, I don't know if that's useful. If you can turn into a monkey, you could turn into a bear that can climb a tree. You probably don't need to worry about that. Which, by the way, taking feats as a druid has a little bit of an extra caveat. If you can use the feat in your animal form, it can still apply. For instance, alert. Animals can be alert. If we come down to... Whoops. If we come down to crossbow expert and you're a moose, well, moose can't use crossbow expert. So that won't be as useful. Now, here's something that would be interesting, and I'd love to get your all's input on this, too. Also, if you carbonate something exposed to radiation, it'll seem like it's from the future. Oh, yeah, because it'll reset the timer, right? What if we gave him Actor as a feat? You increase your charisma score by 1. You have advantage on charisma deception and performance checks when trying to pass yourself off as a different person. And you can mimic the speech of another person or the sounds made by other creatures. You must have heard the person speaking or heard the creature make the sound for at least 1 minute. A successful wisdom insight check opposed to your deception allows the listener to determine that the effect is faked. So he is a human who turns into animals. If we gave him the actor feat, he'd be working on trying to turn into different kinds of humans, right? With with the different languages and such. So I could almost see Actor, while he's not the best at charisma, he turns into other animals. He turns into these things. I could see him taking Actor, especially if he's paranoid. Maybe he thinks people are following him. While he's not the charlatan of Alexandria, who has an established false identity of as Ilantha Fairseer, pardon me. This could allow him to set up maybe an alternate persona or a couple different, humans or an elf or something that he can act as in a non-magical capacity when he's not busy being a bear or a badger. So, Actor could be on the table for him. Alert, I think, is on the table for him. By the way, being an animal shapeshifter, grappler, or tavern brawler could also be useful feats. But I don't really see him as being a fighter. Yes, we're making a D&D character. There should be considerations for fighting. But he doesn't, he's not like a gladiator or something as an entertainer. I think with his background, we could shy away from maybe the physical skills. Healer could be interesting. You're an able physician, allowing you to mend wounds quickly and get your allies back in the fight. You gain the following benefits. When you use your healer's kit to stabilize... Oh, so that could be something else, too. A healer's kit. The creature also gains 1 hit point. As an action, you can spend 1 use of a healer's kit to tend to a creature to restore 1d6 plus 4 hit points. So he's using some medicinal healing. He has medicinal herbs, as Spicy Larry might imply, in order to get people back up and fighting again. Keen Mind could be interesting. You have a mind that can track time, direction, and detail with uncanny precision. We would bump up his int by 1. He always knows which way is north, whether he's above ground, below it, in the water, wherever. So he's a walking compass, effectively. You always know the number of hours left before the next sunrise or sunset. And you can accurately recall anything you have seen or heard within the past month. This may seem a little feeble because you're like, oh, well, I'll just look at the sun to determine, you know, which way I'm facing. Though if you're going into underwater campaigns, if you're going to be spending a lot of time indoors, in a dungeon, underground, a keen mind can be very useful in that situation for orientation and chronology. However, this could also play into someone who's a conspiracy theorist and a logician trying to make sense of everything. You can accurately recall anything you've seen or heard within the past month. So you have an eidetic memory that has that, you know, cycles over once a month. Linguist could, you know, if he's traveled around and he's trying to put clues together, Linguist could also bump up his intelligence and give him 3 other languages. As well, he can create other types of ciphers other than the ones he gets through Druidic. Lucky is lucky. Lucky is a very good feat. That said, I don't want to give our characters lucky. Unless for some reason we make a character that is just really, I don't know, a character that's just really, he needs luck, or she needs luck, or something along those lines. Mobile, he increases his speed by 10 feet. It'll make him a little bit more, make him more mobile. That could be a consideration too. Observant, we can increase our intelligence or wisdom by 1. And if we can see a creature's mouth while it is speaking a language we understand, we can interpret what it's saying by reading its lips. That can also be, especially for a conspiracy theorist who like hides in bushes and maybe watches what people are saying. We also have a +5 bonus to our passive wisdom and intelligence scores for investigation, right? Putting things together. Observant might be the feat that we want to take. What else? We don't need to worry about Warcaster because you turn into a bear and that's it. Okay, so we went over a list. We had Observant. Here, I'll make a list here. Observant, Linguist, Keen Mind, Healer, Actor, and Alert. There we go. So there's the question posed, right? Here we have this chaotic good human, shape-shifting focused druid. He feels tremendous empathy for all who suffer. He connects everything that happens in a grand cosmic plan. He does try and focus on logic. Emotions must not cloud our sense of what is right and true to our logical thinking. Should my discovery come to light, it could bring ruin to the world. And he likes keeping secrets and won't share them with anyone. As well, bear in mind that his background is a hermit, and the reason that he went into solitude is he needed a quiet place to work on his art, literature, music, or, in this case, a manifesto, it sounds like is what we're going for here. Darkwolf is saying, so Raven is thinking actor for this character. Darkwolf is saying the one with lip reading. Well, here, let's go back to character customization options. Actor was, we increase our charisma, and that's him trying to change into different people through non-magical means. But this will give him advantage, and so he's not proficient, but he can still roll twice and keep the highest. That's... Statistically, advantage is a +5 to a dice roll, and disadvantage is a -5 to a dice roll. let alone, you know, any other proficiencies that he might pick up along the way. Darkwolf says he went to work on his theory. He could be hiding himself further from someone hunting him or said discovery. Yeah, so I think that's why we were entertaining why actor could work. And Darkwolf was going for observant, I believe. Observant was, you can see, if you can see a creature's mouth while it's speaking a language you understand, you can interpret what it's saying by reading its lips. And you have a +5 bonus to your passive wisdom and passive intelligence. So passive wisdom is what you're naturally aware of. As I'm making eye contact with you, I'm narrating, I'm speaking, I can hear a train whistle in the background because I live a couple blocks away. There are some train tracks that go by. And you may not be able to pick it up in the mic, but as I'm narrating to you, I hear a freight train going, and despite us having a conversation. That's passive perception. If someone were to walk in through my front door, or my cat started yowling or wrestling or begging for a treat, without breaking what I'm actively doing, I could sense the things that are said or heard going on around me. It could also be tactile, right? You know, you get goosebumps a little easier. Things along those lines. And a passive investigation, think like the Sherlock Holmes that Benedict Cumberbatch or Robert Downey Jr. played, right? They kind of slow down time. It's their active processing in their mind as they piece together things. So instead of just having to sit down and roll, this is a continuous logical deduction going on. Hey, Jose, it's good to see you. So Jose, you came in at a good time. We need to give this character a feat, and we have a short list of viable options. So I don't know how long you've been lurking to get in on this, but we have. I'll go over it real quick with you. Yeah. Oh, Darkwolf. It's a nice full moon. The new camera that came on the S9. This thing is amazing. I can take awesome night photos. In fact, I'll give you. I can give you something to woo about. I'll upload it to Discord here during the break. But Jose, if you want to give some input, we have a chaotic good character. He's a druid circle of the moon, meaning he's focusing on shape shifting. Bet you can't beat your night photos. Oh, do you go out and you take night photos too, Raven? What do you like? Do you live? Well, let's see. If you said that you're down in London, Ohio. So what do you take? What are your pictures? So Jose, here's the character. We have a shapeshifter focused druid. He is chaotic good in alignment. His personality is such. He feels tremendous empathy for all who suffer, and he connects everything that happens to him in a grand cosmic plan. Now, Spicy Larry was indicating that maybe he's been working on a particular strain of pipeweed. You know, that Turbaki might be a little wacky, if you get what I'm saying. He does focus his ideal on logic. Emotions must not cloud his sense of what is right and true, or our logical thinking. Now, that said, he does feel tremendous empathy, but he's processing empathy as information. And he's trying to connect it all. So maybe he's a little paranoid, like, you know, oh, she's crying. What's making her cry? It must be the man in the corner, and the man in the corner is sitting with another man. I've never seen him before. Wait, I think I saw him in the marketplace. Was he following me? This is just an example. Should also, for the possible paranoia, should his discovery come to light, it could bring ruin to the world. Yet he likes keeping secrets, and he doesn't want to share them with anyone. So, he's seeing this grand plan. He's like a conspiracy theorist, as Darkwolf was conceptualizing him. So, with these possibilities, with these options, with this silhouette that we're painting and we're filling in, these are the feats that would probably best fit him, and we get to choose one right now. Raven mentioned that Actor might be the best one because it will bump his charisma up. He has advantage on deception, right? So he could lie if he wants to maybe keep a secret or something, or performance. While he's trying to pass himself off as a different person, right? He can shape change into animals easily, but he can't necessarily, shape change into people. I think druids might get alter self. I don't know. We'll see. But still, for non-magical means, that could be important, right? Because they're looking for a magic user. You can mimic the speech of another person or the sound made by other creatures. You must have heard the person speaking or heard the creature make the sound for at least a minute. So Raven was thinking that would be appropriate. And Dark Wolf had thrown out there Observant. Observant is... you increase your int or whiz by 1. If you can see a creature's mouth while it's speaking a language you understand, you can interpret what it's saying by reading its lips. And you have a +5 bonus to your passive wisdom, perception, and intelligence investigation. So this would be like, if we're going for that paranoid route, he's always paying attention just naturally. He's all around, looking around. And his investigation, he's always piecing things together. He's just he's just intrinsically doing that better because he's rolling at advantage, even though he doesn't have proficiency. Spicy Larry thinks that Keen Mind would be a good one. We increase our int by 1. He'll always know which the direction. He'll always know the time, and he can accurately recall anything he's seen or heard within the past month. That is also a very good feat for a character, I think, like what we're building. Jose thinks Observant because of the paranoia. Hey, Delcorin, it's good to see you here. Peru. Okay, so we have Peru. We have Delcorin who just joined in. We have generated a character. I'll go over it again. Sorry, real quick, since we have some new folks here. We have a Chaotic Good Druid, a shape-shifting focused Druid, Druid of the Moon. All right. He was really proficient with an herbalism kit. Spicy was suggesting maybe he's working on a new strain of pipeweed. Wink, wink. Anyway, he feels tremendous empathy for all who suffer, and he connects everything that happens to him in a grand cosmic plan. Like, whoa, dude, we're all connected. We're all one. Cause and effect everywhere. Butterfly effects. Logic. Emotions must not cloud his sense of what is right and true or our logical thinking. So he like his brain is churning. He's connecting everything. Should his discovery, he's a hermit now. Should his discovery come to light, it could bring ruin to the world. At the same time, he likes keeping secrets and won't share this with anyone. Maybe people are after him. Maybe someone knows. Maybe that's why he became a hermit, and a hermit with a background of 5. And 5 was... sorry, I'll get to it real quick again here. I needed a quiet place to work on my art, literature, music, or especially a manifesto. So he probably secluded himself to get away, to write down all of his thoughts, to make this grand plan. And maybe people are after him. Maybe he just thinks people are after him. And he's super logical, connecting everything around him, all while having double proficiency in an herbalism kit. And so we had a list of feats, because he gets 1 feat and one stat bump. These are the feats that we decided would really fit his characteristic in different fashions. Observant gives a bump to passive perception and investigation. Linguist allows him to create secret ciphers, and will give him 3 extra languages. Keen Mind allows him to always know his direction, his time, and he has an eidetic memory for the past 30 days. He can accurately recall anything he's seen or heard for the past 30 days. Healer, he's really good at using his secret herbs and spices in order to have people recover more quickly. Actor as Raven. Oh, by the way, and speaking of Raven here, I'll get to that in just a second. Raven suggested Actor because while he can magically create himself to be an animal, Actor lets him non-magically change his humanoid form. It's going to give him advantage on deception and performance, and he can mimic the speech of other animals or humanoids or creatures. What else did I miss? Okay. Hey, thank you, Dark Wolf. Oh, and Alert. You get a +5 bonus to initiative, so he's kind of twitchy. He can't be surprised if he's conscious, and other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against him as a result of being hidden from him, because he's alert. He's always looking around. Like Zoinks, guys! Okay, so we've had, looks like Observant seems to be the favorite going in here. And if he fails one of those lip-reading rolls, he could lead into some funny roleplay. That is true, Jose. That is a roleplay opportunity, as we should be calling him. He's like, oh yeah, he totally said that, you know, it's going down at midnight. And instead, I don't know, like, it's how could we linguistically... Anyway, it would be a fun DM, you know, so instead of like midnight, it would be like all right. It'd be something that rhymed. And you could get the wrong idea, and that'd be funny itself. Okay, so Dark Wolf is carrot snaking to Jose. Yeah, for Observant. So, Jose is definitely aboard. Peru and Delcorin, you got the quick and dirty lowdown on this character. What of the list of feats do you think would fit kind of this processing... kind of a Radagast the Brown sort of druid? Well, you know, this could be a stimulating medicinal natural remedy, Peru. But it seems like a lot of you are saying Observant would be... a lot of you it looks like you're saying Observant is the way to go here. Spicy said Keen Mind, and Raven was thinking actor. And I totally get that. I think any of the feats could fit. Which one is the best feat? Yeah, but Delcorin, he's not really going to need Warcaster, because if he's going to war, he's going to turn into a bear. And he doesn't need... If he's hit as bear form, that's just going to make him angrier. Like, he can cast other spells. Druids get a spell list that they all get, but he's not the spellcasty type, he's the shapeshifty type. Jose says, not even since he's paranoid, you could make them say he reads everything and see how the player can go overboard. Oh, right, so as the DM, you can hand the slip and say, this is what they say, but it's up to you as the character to filter it in your own fashion. I like that, that style. Hey, Clark, it's good to see you. Welcome aboard. Okay, so it looks like we're going with the Observant feat. That works. Alright, so we get to bump his int or whiz. Well, why don't we, yes, he casts off of wisdom. He's not going to get a stat bump there. But this can, we will get a stat bump in intelligence. And that will allow him to use this bonus in investigation a little bit more. Now we can provide him his regular ASI, since the one... Like, so he has one at 4 and he has one at 8. Now let's give him an extra +2 somewhere. If we wanted to really round him out, we could bump up his con and his strength. And so he's not super wise, but, you know, he's also lower level. He hasn't even broken 10 yet. So if we wanted, we could even just say, yeah, you know what? We should probably give him a little bit more spells, and 3 of his skills are focused inside of wisdom. So that could be, for sake of argument. Raven's liking that too? Okay. And by the way, Raven did share some nighttime photography. Oh, wow. Oh, so this is, I'm presuming then you have a natural, or you have a reservoir that you go to. But look at this this long exposure, right? We have the stars spinning through the sky, and we have this this waterfall going down over the edge of this reservoir, this man-made lake, I guess. That's really cool, Raven. Thank you for sharing that too. That is neat. It's Madison Lake. Not a long exposure. Oh, multiple exposures stacked. Gotcha. Cool technique. Peru says, it could be he misread someone's lips the first place, so he actually knows nothing. Only thinks he knows a great secret. That's true too, right? He continually misreads what people are saying, so it's all building into a conspiracy, even though there's no conspiracy. That's true, Peru. It's all in his mind. Clark says, just got finished with another session in... Oh, cool. The Adventure of Zoe. On Zoe's last turn before getting knocked out... Up? Look, I'm not here to judge. He revived our wizard, who on the following turn finished off a Draco Lich with magic missile. Whoa. That sounds really intense. Oh, long exposures are too much noise? Okay. Well, you definitely know more than I when it comes to photography. I point my camera at something, I'm like, oh, purdy. That's really cool, Clark. If you're willing to expand on that a little bit more, I'd really like to hear more about your session. Jose says, well, I just hopped in to say hi and see what's up. Not working tonight, so you're going to go to bed early? Well, thank you for doing so, Jose. And I appreciate your input. And you know what? The logic that you put out there, that made a lot of sense. And I know that made me smile, but it sounds like other people in here really liked it too. So thank you for leaving your fingerprint on this character. It means a lot to me, and I think we're all having fun with that idea. Delcorn says, I'd like to see a Were-Beholder Lich. So what, by the light of the new moon, a person turns into a beholder? Or like a lich would turn into a beholder, so it's already undead? Jose says, Perugia, man, I can totally see the druid leading the party on a fool's quest into something completely unrelated. Yeah, this character for sure would be an awesome DM's ally. And you know what? You know what, Jose? Because this week's campaign doesn't really have a big bad evil guy. It's open-ended. It's, look, here's a bunch of fires to put out, and if you put out enough of them, you've won while exploring the region and handling this. A character like this would be really amazing. Oh, also, so for any of you who remembered last week's party, we had a half-elf, half-orc, half-ling, and a dragonborn. Well, we have all of that, except we rolled a human, which is number 4, instead of 5, which is dragonborn. However, last week we had a hermit and a hermit. This week we end with 2 hermits. This is really, really interesting. So maybe one of his conspiracies is like, guys, somewhere out there, what if there's like clones of us walking around and but what if I'm a guys? No, guys. What if I'm a dragon? Am I a dragon? You're thinking undead beholder, growing fur, fangs, and all that wear stuff. Strength, even more resistances. Literally unplayable, Delcorin. Literally, actually. Alright, we can put in our our stats now that we have this sorted out. That would be cool to see, Delcorn. However, I feel you'd also see a TPK soon after. Peru may be looking into the future as some kind of wizard. Whoops. This is a 7 because we have a +4 proficiency. And this is an 8. And we're going to copy this and repaste it several times. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, minor detail, says Del. Clark says, Zoe knew his offense couldn't take on the Draco Lich, who the DM said was a pet of the Lich King, was running low on health, and knew he was going to get knocked out next turn. Turning around, he sees our wizard, who has a lot of potential weapons at her disposal, revives her, and she immediately sees that the Dracolich was starting to fade. She casts Magic Missile at 7th level and kills the Dracolich. So kind of like got in that last minute shot, and it ended up defeating the enemy before it ran away, Clark? Is that the gist of what happened? You're sure there's a band of min-maxers who would attempt it anyway? Oh, I'm sure, Del. Sometimes you just sort of like flop into the forum with your hand up, right? It's like that old webcomic of like, guys, running up, and then you like fall forward with your arm up, and then you say something that usually like triggers everyone. You know, so you could drop that in and see if we could end up making a Werebeholder, a Werebeholder Lich. We can calculate our initiative, right? That's our dex. Our armor class, well, leather offers 11 plus our dex, so that's 13. With a shield, that's 15 AC. Our hit points are easy. You always get your maximum hit die at level 1. Our hit dies are D8, so that's 8. Now, we are going to get our Constitution modifier over all of our levels. So we have 9 levels times 1 mod in our Constitution. However, the next time we plop a number down in there, that's going to give us that many more levels of hit points because it goes retroactively. Now we're going to add half plus 1 for our remaining levels of hit die. Half of 8 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have 8 levels times 5 hit points. Why is that 8? Well, remember, level 1, we receive the full 8. Level 2 through X. So in this case, 8, right? 1, 8 is 9. Half plus 1. So there we go. So here we have 8 plus 9 plus 40. We have 49. We have 57 hit points. There we go. Nice and easy. Now, passive perception, this is going to be 8 plus 10 plus 5 because we took observant. So we have 18, we have a 23 passive perception. This guy is looking and listening and all around. Okay. Jose just had an idea and had to come back. Make the druid break the fourth wall with a crazy conspiracy that they're all trapped in a game played by gods. We can add that as a note. This is a part of his manifesto that he went into seclusion to write. Okay, so maybe this maybe this one word can go out of here, but that could be one of his big revelations. All bless the min-maxers and the math they calculate. You know, it is interesting. Like, so the actual calculations and research aren't my bag, but I will say, Peru, while I don't play min-max characters, I do enjoy seeing everything that goes into someone's proposition to min-max a character. Stargate Atlantis did that in an episode. Oh, Delcorn, are you referencing Jose's suggestion to break the fourth wall? McKay and Shepard found a game and started playing it. Turns out they were actually controlling 2 countries on another planet. Oh, wow. It's like playing Civilization or something, right? £110 carrying capacity. There we go. Okay. We are about finished. Really, the only thing major to do, because druids can choose their spells at every day, We need to give him some cantrips because those are more or less fixed. He's going to get 3 Druid cantrips. Druid Craft, Guidance, Mending, Poison Spray, Produce Flame, Resistance, Shillelagh, and Thorn Whip. Talking with a friend who's interested in D&D. She might come to Wednesday. Oh, cool. Now, is this another friend, Dark Wolf, or is this the friend of Kitty on paper? Let me get reminded about Druidcraft again. You create tiny harmless sensory effect that predicts the weather. Okay, so you can predict the weather. You instantly make a flower blossom, a seed pod open, or a leaf bud bloom. You create an instantaneous harmless sensory effect, such as falling leaves, a puff of wind, the sound of a small animal, or the faint odor of skunk. The effect must fit a 5-foot cube. You instantly light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire. That seems pretty useful. I don't know if he'd really Thorn Whip people in order to get him closer in this case. Maybe taking Poison Spray as his offensive cantrip would work. And Resistance might be one if he's paranoid. Let's go down to Resistance real quick. Sorry, I'm flashing through this. You touch one willing creature. Once before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one saving throw of its choice. It can roll a die before or after making the saving throw. The spell then ends. That could work. Right, if he needs to get out of there real quick, that might buy him time. And a d4 is that could make a big difference. We'll give him Resistance. That plays into his paranoia a little bit, right? He's prepared for... He's logically thinking. He's prepared for a lot of different things. KOP's friend. Oh, yeah, and you're a friend by association. Yeah, well, if this friend can come out, you know it's a friendly group. Did you make a character for this person? Or are you trying to feel out what she wants to play, race or class-wise? And lastly, we can make a little note here. Poison Spray. One D12 poison. Con save. Our spell resistance is going to be 8 plus 4 is 12, plus another 4 from our modifier. Our attack is our modifier plus our proficiency, so we're attacking with a +8. We also are not using any special kind of meta magic or anything, so we don't need to worry about that. Clark. No, unfortunately, yeah, you'll have to break it into smaller parts, Clark. And if you want, you can put it on Discord too, if you want to go into Tales of the Tabletop, and I'll be sure to read it. Or if you want, you can break it into smaller parts here. No problem. I'm going to print out a sheet, and we'll talk about making our character on for Wednesday. Okay. Oh, and Clark is sharing a tale. Well, I'll be sure to read it, because I think we have a pretty... almost finished, not entirely. There's really one last thing I think we need to do. If we go to classes, let's go back down to Druid. We need to determine how many spells we have. real quick, let's repeat this. 16 plus 8. We're casting off of Wiz, and this is not applicable. We are going to know... we learn a number of druid spells equal to our wisdom modifier plus our druid level. So we have 13 spells. And at 9 we have 4, 3, 3, 3, 1. So we can break. Oh, I'm sorry. We're yeah. No. We're level 9. There we go. Any day we could break this up and say, hey, we want to take 10, if there is even 10 first level spells. And then we'll put 1, 1, and 1 and then get 0. We can go, 3, 2, 2, and 5. That can change. The cantrips can't really. But we can, as long as we have the ability to learn spells of that level, every long rest, we can be wishy-washy and swap out our spells as we see fit. So if we were to make a spell list for this character right here and now, it would be a reflection of his personality. If he wakes up on any given day, whatever, it's an average day, he's not being chased by people, but maybe he's chasing his dreams, what would be the spells that he carries? And that's the spell list that we can make for him. So that is a good exercise for building the personality of our character. Although I'm going to need to get up and take a bit of a break here. So we'll keep this in mind. And this character is all but done. And I'll make sure to shore him up, and we can add in some art and some other things for him before tomorrow's bringing the party together and going forward from there. So hang tight. I'm going to read Clark's story here first, and then I'll go on break. Clark says, before long, Zoe, that's his tiefling cleric, comes to join the rest of the party in looting the Dracolich and the surrounding room. He finds the Tome of the Stilled Tongue and asks the wizard if he could identify it. They find out the tome belonged to a servant of Vecna. Uh-oh. A sworn enemy of the Raven Queen. Yep, I can understand why. Zoe knows this and is immediately freaked out by the tome, but is able to hide his uncertainty from the rest of the party. He doesn't know what to do with it. He knows he doesn't want something associated with Vecna in his possession, but he also doesn't want it to fall into the wrong hands. Oh, that's a good conundrum, right, as a player, right? The session ended before he could go to a temple of the Raven Queen to get one of his fellow clergymen to offer their opinion. Wow. So that's a very nice cliffhanger, and this is giving something for you to think about too, right? Your first instinct might be to destroy it, but can you destroy it? Are you powerful enough? Otherwise, if you leave it behind, well, just anyone can find it. And so you have a radioactive hot potato right now, Clark. Bobicus is giving you the recommendation to destroy it. Use flames. All right, I'm going to take my short rest here. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. I'll still be in chat, but I'm going to mute the mic and such, and we'll go from there. Oh, hey, whoa, Sketchben. Sketchben. You caught me right as I was going on break. Oh, wow, I really appreciate it. Hang on, I'm going to come back live again. I want to make sure that I can welcome you all. In fact, here, I have a little bit of tea left, so cheers to you. Hopefully you like, this is, I think, a mango green tea. Oh, it's yummy. But Sketchben, thank you so much for coming by, and everyone who's come along. We made a very interesting character. Kind of a paranoid druid who thinks that people are always after him. As it was brought up, maybe he's been developing a pretty strong strain of herbal remedy that he's been enjoying. But we statted him out, and he's not necessarily a stereotype. He's a very compelling character. Here's his personality. I'll leave this up here, actually, for a little bit. But welcome to you all. If you are new to the channel, you're in good company. We are sitting down at a table in a game store. We are, we're a bunch of proud role-playing nerds, artists, storytellers, and that's just at the table, let alone students, engineers. I own a game store myself. We come from all walks of life, all around, and we're here to tell tales and have a great time. As well, if Sketchben hasn't given you a bit of a primer, we do have some fun mini games in this chat you can play that will maybe help give you some role-playing prompts and things like that. So cool, thank you so much. Oh, that's Karma the Goat is taking a couple hits here from these follows. When you're following, you're knocking some hit points off of Karma, who ended up taking over the stream last night. There was a bit of a savage bit war going on, and Karma the Goat won the day there. Peru says, what's funny is if he's come to the tome, then Vecna is watching him. That could be, too. Now, whether or not Zoe realizes that. Also, by the way, you came in right at a very cool cliffhanger that It's Clark 17 was talking about a session that he just finished up recently, and his cleric found himself in a bit of a moral conundrum, as he has a relic of Vecna, who is the antithesis god to the god that he follows. But he doesn't want this tome to fall into the wrong hands, but he may not be willing or able to destroy it himself right here and now. So what's going to happen in this case? But Momalia, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, thank you for coming along on the journey. Volvo729, I really appreciate you coming along on the raid. Hopefully you all stick around, you're a part of the conversation, and you're going to get into the storytelling and role-playing that we're going to get into. We're not in the middle of a huge epic campaign that you can't catch up. Also, your own stories from the tabletop are welcome, whether you've only been playing a week, whether you've been playing a decade. It's all welcome here. And did I miss anyone else? I'm sorry if I did. Oh no, Sketchben is immediately dueling Volvo. Yep, and you can't go for more than what you have. Volvo, you love D&D. That's amazing to hear. Well, here it's a little bit early, but we had a pretty good raid. I'm gonna add points to all of you to help give you a little bit of a boost. If you lurk, you're gonna continue to earn EXP, and there's some other ways you can earn EXP below, but you'll use that to play our chat games, such as going on some random quests. You can do you can duel each other if you want. You can do exclamation point who goes there for a fun role-playing style game where there's not really any dice rolls that are needed. Mama Leah, or do you want it as Leia? Although Mama Leah is kind of that's fun to say. But anyway, okay. So, Sketch, you caught me right before taking a break, and I do need to take a break. I will be back shortly. So, jam out, have fun. Sketch, if you want to show them the ropes of the mini games, and if you want to tell them how to do the random planes and whatnot, I'll be back, and I can add points if you guys are winning in the planes, or if you're dueling or battling or going from there, drawing from the deck of many things, asking for a res, etc. Anyway, here's I'm gonna go back on short rest. I'll give you some nice atmospheric music to jam out to, and I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, I just got to make sure I'm taking care of business on my own end.